Oh, slow. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all for coming. Today is the Father's Day. We are going to discuss the significance of the different fathers that we have. So we will take some of the references from the scriptures and we will go through that. And thank you for giving me the opportunity. Although I feel I'm not at all qualified, I do it as a service and my own purification. Before we discuss about any spiritual topics, we say a few prayers so that I will be able to speak here properly and correctly in accordance with the previous acharyas, and you will be able to also listen and take it. So please say, if you already know the prayers or you can see the screen, you can say along with me. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and the spiritual master opened my eyes to the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hariharaya Nama, Krishna Yadavaya Namaha, Gopala Govinda Ram, Shri Madhusudana, Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripat Amaham Vande Shri Gurum Dina Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam, Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram, Harihi Om Tat Sat. So we'll start with a few icebreaker questions to make it more interactive. We know we have how many mothers that we have from the scriptures? Seven. What about fathers? How many fathers we have? It will be kind of a tricky question.
I was trying to think of this morning and I couldn't remember. It's like I'm running.
Okay, any guesses?
Or one.
One?
Christians, that's it.
Any more? Three? Anyone else? Any guesses? Dina Dwarkalila Mataji ki jai. It's actually three. Yeah. How many energies of Krishna we have? Three energies, right? Of those, the Tatastha Shakti means the marginal energy is we living entities. But there is the spiritual energy and there is the material energy. And we are oscillating between these two. Like, of course, we go to the spiritual world, we'll never come back. But as soon as a living entity was came into existence, it was either associating with the spiritual energy of the Supreme Lord or the material energy of the Supreme Lord. So basically, then we have three kinds of birth of a human being. And this is taken from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 31, Text 10. And it was in the discussion between Narada Muni and the Prachetas. Prachetas are the descendants of Swayambhuva Manu. You know who Manu is? So Manu is the first human being. You know how Lord Brahma came, right? Brahma comes from the navel of Lord Vishnu. And from Brahma's forehead, two beings appear. Who are they? Manu and his wife. Yeah. So first, of course, the four Kumaras appear when Brahma asked them to create the whole, take the material world and create more living beings. They decline because they want to. They are fully spiritual. They want to engage in the service of the Supreme Lord immediately. And then Brahma becomes a little bit angry, and from his forehead comes Lord Shiva, Rudra. Then afterwards, again he starts into meditation, and then with the blessing of the Supreme Lord come the first couple, which who is Manu and his wife. Since Manu and his wife did not take birth from any uh, other beings, they are called Swayambhuva Manu. Means they came into existence right away. So the first human beings appeared like just like that. and they might have appeared from the spiritual world, but in the material world, they right away appeared.
They have a son?
Yeah, so and then we'll see in this lecture what they do, and then we will go from there. So from the first human being, and if you see mankind, the word mankind comes from the word Manu. Manu, yes, Manu, man, like that. So all the human beings, they came from Manu, and yeah. So what Narada is telling to Prachetas is, a civilized human being has three kinds of births. The first birth is by a pure father and mother, and this birth is called birth by the semen. The next birth takes place when one is initiated by the spiritual master, and this birth is called Savitra. The third birth, called Yagnika, takes place when one is given the opportunity to worship Lord Vishnu. Despite the opportunities to attain such births, even if one gets the lifespan of a demigod, if one does not actually engage in the service of the Lord, everything is useless. Similarly, one's activities may be mundane or spiritual, but they are useless if they are not meant for satisfying the Lord. So we discussed about the two energies, right? The spiritual energy and the material energy. So you see on the top, there is the spiritual energy, which is who is the father in the spiritual world for all of us?
No,
Krishna, right? Krishna. And then in the material world, who is our father?
Papa?
Our birth father, like who gave birth to us, our biological father. So then, who is the person who is connecting us, taking us from the material world to the spiritual world? The spiritual master, Prabhupada, and everyone, right? All the acharyas. So that's why we have three fathers, where we have the biological father in the material world. Krishna is the father of everyone, both spiritual and material. But our goal is to go away from this material world and go back home, back to Godhead. But that process requires another father. Why is it called a father? Is because a father always gives guidance to the children. So that's why the spiritual master is also called the father, and he is also the one who bridges the our journey, or from the material world to the spiritual world. So we know Krishna is the father of everyone. How do we know that? From in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna told by himself. Please say after me. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiyaha tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradah pita. Anyone wants to read the translation?
It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed giving father.
So Krishna is whose father? My father?
Thank you. Yes,
Your father?
yes.
Their father? Krishna is everyone's
If you
father.
don't know, it's you.
Exactly. So we might forgot. Some people might have forgot. Even I forgot, because I am trying to establish the relationship like all of us. But Krishna is the seed-giving father for everyone. Okay. So now let's go to the second one. Then we are established that we have a father in this world, which is the biological father. So we all have different biological fathers, and we might be having a same spiritual father or different one. But when we come to the spiritual world, it's only one. It is Krishna, who is the father for everyone. So what is the duty of the son and or daughter towards their father? Any father. So yeah, one thing we'll find out here is, um, we will see that whatever is in the material world and spiritual world is not different. Whatever we follow here is exactly what Krishna also likes when we follow in the spiritual world. If we want to establish the relationship with Krishna as a father. So what are the duties you can think of? To learn and to serve. Mataji, you have to give a lecture one time. So, you are so we have to take the guidance of the father, and we follow the father's instructions. If we do that, then the father will be pleased. And that's what Manu, as soon as he appears from Brahma, he immediately offers his prayers. He says, "You are the father of living entities and the source of their sustenance, because they are all born of you. Please order us how we may be able to render service unto you." So in the material world, the father is who? Brahma, right? Because Brahma is the first living being. in the material world. So from him came Manu, and Manu is the first human being. And from Manu, everyone came. And as soon as Manu appeared, what did he do? He immediately offered obeisances to the Supreme Lord, to Brahma. And then he said, how can I serve you? Anyone wants to read the purport from Srila Prabhupada? Prabhupada ki jai.
A son's duty, or anyone can do it.
You can, yeah.
A son's duty is not only to make the father the source of supply for all of his needs, but also when he has grown up to render service unto him. That is the law of creation, beginning from the thing of from a father's duty is to bring up the son until he is grown, and when the son is grown up, it is his duty to render service unto the father. So
Jai.
reciprocal.
Yes. So the father's responsibility is to bring up the son. But is the son or the daughter, when I say just so, it's both. When they grow up, is it just that they keep on taking, Father, give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this, or there should be a time where they start to say, thank you, Father, for all the things that you have done. I want to serve you. Right? So that is what the scriptures say is our responsibility. Where our Father will make us come up nicely as in a society, and when we grow up and when we can stand on our own legs, we have to turn to the Father and say, Father, you have made us come up so nicely. What can we do to serve you? And but are we doing it for our Father? We might be or we might not be, but what scripture says we have to do, at least we have to do it for Krishna, because what we do in the material world, we completely forgot when we came here who is our actual Father, Krishna. And in the material world, all we keep on asking is, give me this, give me a car, give me a house, give me a job, give me promotion, give me nice wife, give me nice family, give me guys kids, let my kids grow up, they become successful, let me have grandkids, and let me have a retirement home, let me have and let me have money. Yeah, it's all money is all part of this actually. Yeah. So give me this. But have we turned towards the Lord and said, you have been giving me all this I have been asking, and can I give something to you? Right? Not yet. But thanks to Srila Prabhupada that we come to the realization that it is not about always taking from the Father. Always, it's also about rendering service onto the Father also. And what happens when we do that? So what happened when Manu said that? Brahma became very pleased. He said, Lord Brahma said, my dear son, O Lord of the world, I am very pleased with you, and I desire all blessings for both you and your wife. You have without reservation surrendered yourself onto me with your heart for my instructions. Purport, if you can read by anyone. Go ahead, Prabhuji.
The relationship between the Father and the Son is always sublime. The Father is naturally disposed with goodwill towards the Son, and he is always ready to help the Son in his progress in life. But in spite of the Father's goodwill, the Son sometimes misses because of his misuse of personal independence. Every living entity, however small or big he may be, has the choice of independence. If the Son is unreservedly willing to be guided by the Father is 10 times more eager to instruct and guide him by all means.
Jai. So there is a continuation. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead.
The father and son relationship as exhibited here in the dealings of Brahma and Manu is excellent. Both the father and the son are well qualified, and their example should be followed to all humankind. Manu, the son, unreservedly asked the father, Brahma, to instruct him, and the father, who was full of Vedic wisdom, was very glad to instruct. Was the example of the father of mankind may be rigidly followed by mankind, and that will advance the cause of the relationship of father and sons.
Jai, thank you, Prabhu. So what we can understand from here is the father, if he is full of spiritual knowledge, he will immediately impart that knowledge to the son or the daughter. So it is the duty of the son and daughter to rigidly follow the instructions. And Brahma being the source of all Vedic knowledge, he immediately became pleased. And what did Manu do? He say, Father, give me the instruction, but give me the instruction such a way that I can do this, right? No. Or what did he say, Father? I like to do I'd like to become a doctor. So give me instructions in that accordance. Or like he did not say that. He said he went to the Brahma and he said, "Give me the instructions. I don't have any reservations." So that's how we should be. And of course, the father may not be well versed in Vedic knowledge. So in the current world, they might be or not be able to give the proper instructions. So what we have to understand from this is ourselves before becoming fathers, and even in Vedic scriptures it says, if you cannot provide, make your children progress in spiritual knowledge or spiritual life, you should not have kids. So it goes to that extent and says it clearly. So first we have to purify ourselves. We have to uh, understand the Vedic knowledge, and then once we have kids or children, we have to give them proper instructions. And then the kids, they have to, if their father is spiritual, they are or Krishna conscious, they should seek the instructions of the father and follow the instructions. And Brahma continues. Lord Brahma said, "O hero, your example is quite befitting a son in a relationship with his father. This sort of adoration for the superior is required. One who is beyond the limit of envy and who is sane accepts the order of his father with great delight and executes it to his full capacity." What we want to read?
Those who obey their fathers on
Disobey.
those who disobey their fathers on material grounds, however, are surely subjected to disciplinary reaction for such disobedience. Manu's obedience to his father on material grounds was certainly free from envy, and in the material world, it is imperative for ordinary men to follow the example of Manu.
So what we can understand is what comes in the way for us to take the instructions, we may not be able to see perceive it, but it's actually envy. Because if we have a father who is very successful, everybody he has a big company, he has a lot of people saying oh great things about it. The the children they don't want to be in the shadow of the father anymore. They want the same kind of adoration from others. That's why they say I want to be independent. I don't want to be in the shadow. I want to do my own thing. So they will not, that is the thing that they will lead them to actually try to say I want to be independent from my father. I want to prove myself. And technically it is kind of envy, we might call it that way or not. So they go out of the house and all. That's what happened for us. We have been always in the spiritual world in association with the Supreme Lord. When everybody was the mood in the spiritual world is to render service to the Supreme Lord. But we wanted that service ourselves. We wanted to enjoy independently. And as soon as that thought comes, we immediately fall to this material world. And that's how and Krishna is so merciful that if we say if a son goes to the father and say I want to be independent from you, I want to prove myself, I want to be a great person, then father will immediately say don't worry son, yeah, go ahead and do whatever you want. He will not force it. And will he force the son to no, you have to stay in my shadow only, or you have to stay with me? No, right? He is loving. So he said, go son, you will realize yourself if you find. And of course, if the son goes and he struggles, we know it. And sometimes the father is so merciful, he will know if the son is struggling, he will talk to his friends, and behind the scenes, he will try to help. So same thing, Krishna has arranged this world in such a way that whatever be the desire of the living entity, if they deserve, if their desire is strong and they do the work that is required to deserve it, they will grant it. If you want to become a president, all the presidents of different countries, did not become presidents right away. It is said that they have been done pious activities in their previous lives, many lives. Now they became. But the problem with that is Maya is so strong. As soon as they become the prime president or prime minister, Maya captures. They are intoxicated with the power, and immediately the next life will be not a human life, unfortunately. Yeah. So you have to be Rajarshi, means you have to be a king, and we have to be also learned. Then you will be able to make significant, profound change in the society. You can bring all the people to righteous. But if you are using your power only to your own sense gratification, then the next life will be a demotion from the material, from the human form of life. So, from what we have read, how can we please our Father? To recollect by serving and following the instructions of our Father. So, and the same example is confirmed by Vishnu himself. Lord Vishnu, when he was the Prachetas, follow the instructions of their father to go and worship the Supreme Lord. So other thing is when the Prachetas took the instructions of their father and went to the forest for meditation, all the help in the world came to make them progress. Coincidentally, they came across Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva becomes their spiritual master, and he gives the Shiva Gita, means he sings the glories of Lord Vishnu. And the Prachetas take that song and meditate, and immediately Lord Vishnu appears. So if the father really wants the son to become spiritual, and if he sincerely gives the instruction, go and do this, and if the son or daughter takes the instructions and follow it strictly, all the help in the world comes for them to make progress in the spiritual world, progress towards spirituality. So Lord Vishnu says to Prachetas, because you have the pleasure accepted within your hearts the orders of your father and have executed those orders very faithfully, you attract your attractive qualities will be celebrated all over the world. Purport anyone wants to read?
Since every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has small independence. Sometimes unintelligent men ask why one is put into a miserable condition, even though everyone is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because of this minute independence, the living entity can obey or disobey the orders of the Supreme Lord. If he obeys the Supreme Lord orders, he becomes happy. If he does not, he becomes unhappy. Therefore, the living entity creates his own well, that happiness around him. The Supreme Lord does not enforce his own duty. The Supreme Lord is praised. The Supreme Lord praised
Prachetas.
the Prachetas because they all faithfully obeyed the orders of their father. The Lord therefore blessed the sons of King Prachetas because they obeyed their father's orders.
Jai Prabhu. So Prachetas are the children of King Prachina Barhishat. He is also in the lineage of Swayambhu Manu. So Lord Vishnu himself says, because you have taken the instructions of your father, although when King Prachina Barhishat, when he gave the orders to his sons, he was not Krishna conscious completely. He was still doing rituals. He for like different yagnas for getting different results. But he knew that worshipping the Supreme Lord will give better results. So he gave the instructions to his sons, but he himself was still materialistic at the time. But his sons took the instructions and followed, and then they were able to please the Supreme Lord. And then some people might question, okay, so if we are saying that the Krishna is our father, seed-giving father, why am I having all these troubles in this material world? Because this material world is a dukkhalayam ashashvatam, means it's a place of misery. We had that initial like the initial choice whether we and the living entity came into existence, we wanted to serve, be in the association of the Supreme Lord, or we did not want. We all, everyone here, we all chose that we want to be independent. We did not want to be in association with the Supreme Lord, serving him. So we all came here, and when we came here, each of us is trying to exploit the material world in our own way. One want to show like grow individually, we want to enjoy independently and everything. So there is obviously conflict, because I'm drawing a boundary around myself, every next person is drawing a boundary around him or himself or herself, and there will be a conflict. But if we all work in the way that the supreme in the spiritual world, where we put Krishna in the center, then you put one center and you draw how many circles, they don't intersect, right? There will not be any conflict. So that's the goal. If we all work with Krishna as the pleasing Krishna as the only goal, then there will not be any, and that's what Krishna says. That is the universal peace formula. What is that? Number 15 point, chapter 15. Um, anyone remembers? No, chapter 5.29. Yeah. The three things that Supreme Lord is the father of everyone, he is the well-wisher of everyone, and he is the uh, universe Supreme Lord. Anyone remembers? Bhoktaram, yes, thank you, Mataji. Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram sudam sarva bhutam gnatva mam shantim ruchati. Means like once we put Krishna in the center of everyone, then let's say there will be any conflict. No, right? Countries won't be fighting with each other. People will not be fighting with each other, and that is the thing. And also, then people might ask that why can't God come and force me to go back to the spiritual world, right? Should He do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, in one circumstance, I would suggest it.
Okay, what is the
Um,
circumstance?
so if I'm situated in Braha, Sri Braha, or situated with the Lord, and if I want to have more love for the Lord, and I want to take physical birth again in order to try to have more love for the Lord, then he might.
So yeah, that's great. But what we are looking is the end goal, right? Which we want now. But what we're not understanding is our choice was to enjoy independently. Now we are trying to change that choice to be in association with the Supreme Lord. But there is a path. We want to reach that 100%. But if we are not there, if we did not prove that our real desire is that, there could be more desires within the heart that are not coming out. Like when you go to, it's the example that was given is when you start, if you did not go to the attic of your house for quite some time, and then it accumulates dust, right? As you keep sweeping, the dust comes out. But if you don't sweep, then it appears very clear. So our heart might appear that I am very clear. Now I want to associate with the Supreme Lord. Cheto Darpana Machanam, just like the mirror is covered with dust. But as you keep going deeper and deeper, then our material desires will come out. Like if you say, you might be saying that, okay, God should come and force me and take away to the Supreme Lord. But when you go home, honestly close your eyes and let's say, start a prayer. Okay, Krishna, come here. Now I'm ready to go back to Vaikuntha. How many will say, yes, I'm ready? Right? Immediately it will say, oh, what happens to my family? What happens to my job? What happens to my house? What will happen? All the things. So actually, nobody is ready. But if they are really ready, yes, Krishna will not wait. He will take. So since Krishna is not taking us back, which means that we still have some material desires, that is actually stopping us from going back. And if we force that, what happens? It's like kidnapping, right? There is a syndrome you can think of, right? There is the word that comes, some syndrome, where if a kidnapper, like happens when the criminal kidnaps these teenager girls,
they become instilled in there.
they start liking the person, the kidnapper actually. And when the Stockholm syndrome, yes. So when the police come, the cops come, the kidnappers don't want to go. Yeah, then is that process right? Of course, the kidnap. Then if you look at the end result, yes, the kidnapper really liked the person who kidnapped. The kidnapper, the person who got the victim really liked the kidnapper. But does it mean that they should continue in that way? No, right? Then the whole person's life was changed. Similarly, we all have this minute independence. If Krishna comes and forces us and takes back home to back to Godhead, what is the reason? Does it make sense to have our independence? No. So that is what it is. So we have to see that Krishna respects our independence. Unless and until we completely surrender our independence and say that, yes, Krishna, I am ready, until then he will not come. Otherwise, if there is no meaning to independence, if he comes and forces and takes back home. And now coming to the second father, who is our spiritual master. I'm calling him as the bridge father because he is the one who bridges from the material world to the spiritual world. Tad vidhi pranipatena परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानम् ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः. So what Krishna is saying is, if you want to come to me, go and approach a spiritual master. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. With the help of their spiritual master, they were able to see the real truth. So they want to give the truth again to us. So the first step in going back home, back to Godhead is getting the second father, which is surrendering onto the, because our father, maybe our father may also be good, but he will give some instructions. But for example, King Prachin Varhishat also becomes spiritualized. If King Prachin Varhishat would have become spiritual and then he instructed his sons, even then it might not really make sense because the father and son, in the biological sense, will have a strong bond, and that will, even if they are fully learned, they will still get a separate guru. So the spiritual master will be someone who is a second father, who is not really related, but he will be spiritually related, not the materially related. So when we approach the spiritual master, he will accept us as a disciple, and then he will initiate us into the chanting process, and that is the first step. And if a spiritual master accepts us, there is a direct link that gets established. Until then, we are in the dotted line towards Krishna.
The one line?
Dotted line, there is some
Line?
gaps.
Yeah, yeah.
There is some material desire. Sometimes we want to
Okay,
serve Krishna. But the moment a spiritual master accepts us, a direct link is formed between us and Krishna's mercy starts flowing directly without any interruption. So, what does Prabhupada say in that puppet? Anyone wants to read? The
The path of spiritually, excuse me, yes, Papa. The path of spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. The Lord, therefore, invites us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in alignment with succession from the Lord Himself. No one can be a bona fide spiritual master without following this principle of succession. The Lord is the original spiritual master, and a person in the discipleship succession can convey the message of the Lord.
as it
It
is
is to be
to his
disciple.
disciple.
No one can be spiritually realized by manufacturing his own practice, as in the fashion of the foolish pretenders. The Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 3rd chapter, says,
Dharmantu sakshat bhagavat pranitam.
The path of religion is directly enunciated by Supreme Lord. Therefore, mental speculation is dry argumentation cannot lead it to the right path, nor is it by independent study of books or knowledge.
Thank you. So this is a bigger one, but let me quickly read. One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. Inquiries and submission constitute the proper combination for spiritual understanding. Unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master, and when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. In this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. Not only should one hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must also get a clear understanding from him in submission and service and inquiries. A bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind towards the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries becomes perfect. So, it's going back to the same thing. Whether it is our father, biological father, or the spiritual father, we have to take the instructions and follow the instructions and serve. Then the Father's mercy will come to us, and it can be our biological father. Think about it. If you are very obedient to your father, the obedient word nowadays might the kids are like told in school not to be obedient to your parents, whatever be the reason. But uh, the word obedient has different things, but obedient in the sense like be favorable, like to be kind. We are understand why the father is giving the instructions. It is for our own benefit, right? If you follow the instructions, the fathers, just like Tadvidi Pranipatina, the spiritual master has seen the truth. In the material world, the biological fathers, they have seen the life themselves in the society, the dangers that are there. And when they're giving the instructions, they are using all their experience. Why would a father give an instruction that would affect the child's life? No, right? Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. When the father is giving the instruction, it is for their b- best outcome only, for the benefit. There are two kinds of benefit. One is Shreya and one is Preya. Preya means sense pleasures that give immediate benefit right away. Like if you are playing a video game, we get sense pleasure. If we are watching a movie, we get it right away. But Preya means the long term benefit. If the father says, don't play a video game, read or do this, do that, they are putting the long term benefit in mind for the son or the daughter. And but the son or daughter, they think that why is my father asking me to restrict all those things? Why is they doing that? But they don't understand that it is for the shreya, means the long term benefit of that. And only after the son becomes a father, then they will realize, oh, that is the trend actually. Only after we become our own parents, And it's not just I'm preaching here. I did the same thing when I was did not want to follow the instructions. But once we grow up and we get the kids ourselves, then we go back and say, "Oh, all this time my father has been telling me." So he was right. So okay, we have been thinking about what pleases the father, right? What displeases the father? Some examples.
Rejecting his instructions.
Yeah, taking the instructions, rejecting the instructions. That's good. Yeah. Anything else?
Rejecting Krishna.
Yeah. So rejecting Krishna. Yeah, that is rejecting the instructions of
Any
the.
religion, really.
Yeah. What else? Think from the material standpoint, like in our own family, what upsets a father?
Too many hugs. The right hug me there a lot. Too many hugs. Get out. Too much. Nah.
Yeah, but what? So yeah, a father has his own life where they might be going through some troubles in the work and all. But from the son and the father relationship, what would hurt the father from the son or daughter standpoint? Not checking on them. Yeah, ignoring. Actually, if you ignore them, the father will still be not upset because he know as long. Yeah, from our point, we'll be thinking guilty. Oh, I'm ignoring my father. But the father thinks that as long as my child is happy, I'm happy, right? If you see your child, son or daughter playing in the backyard by themselves, and if you're watching, then you will get that happiness if you see them happy. What else? Like yeah, not continuing the legacy. Yeah. What else? Think more practically. If the father has multiple children, what can you think if they fight? Yes. So if the siblings are fighting with each other, will it make the father happy? Not at all, right? What else is there? Any other example? So we think, right? We are saying that father will be the provider, right? He, of course, moms also provide, but in general, we can generalize here as the father. So if the father is giving everything to the children, the son or daughter, if they are still not satisfied, they are only looking at the glass half empty, will the father be happy? Because materialistically, we can't provide everything our kids want, right? We have limitations, and we want to give everything, but there'll be so many restrictions that we know it might not be good, even if we know it is good. And if the child promises that if you give me this, I will do this, but the father may not have the money to give that. So, but if the child is always thinking, you did not give me this, you did not give me this, you did not give me that, you did not. But what about the things that your father gave? Why are you not looking at them? And the father may not be expressing that, but within the heart, he will be thinking, I'm doing everything for my child with the things I can do. The things that I'm not giving there is a reason. Why is my child not happy with the things that? Why is my child only look at the things that I'm not able to give? Right. So that's exactly what the thing that Krishna also says. How can we please Krishna? The same Father who is for everyone. Concluding is this. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, 31, 19, text 19. This is also what Narada says to the Prachetas. Three things quickly satisfy Krishna. Our whole goal is to satisfy Krishna, correct? If the Father becomes happy, he is ready to take us back home, back to Godhead. What are those three things? Please say after me. Dayaya sarva bhuteshu संतुष्ट्यायेन केन वा सर्वेन्द्रियोपशान्त्या च तुष्ट्यत्या आशु जनार्दनः. By showing mercy to all living entities, being satisfied somehow or other, and restricting the senses from enjoyment, one can very quickly satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Janardana. So that is the clue. Three things only. What are those three things? We have to be kind. We'll have to be in harmony with all the living entities, not just the fellow devotees. Of course, if it is fellow devotees, we have to be more careful. But Krishna is saying, not saying I'm the father of only devotees. He's saying Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya means of all the living entities. Not just, Sarva Yonishu means he's not also saying I am the father of all the human beings. He's saying I'm the father of all the 8,400,000 species of life. So we have to be kind to the animals. We have to kind to be our fellow human beings, kind to the devotees especially. We have to be having a favorable relationship with them. Just like in a sibling standpoint, if the siblings are fighting with each other,
Oh,
the father won't be happy. Of course, if the kids are, if their kids young, their fighting is not a big deal. The father is okay. But imagine when they all become adults and they are fighting over some assets or something like that, or then the father's heart will be hurt, right? Uh, and that's the reason. So same thing. Uh, we have to be merciful to the living entities. If we fight with the other living entities, Krishna or Supreme Father will not be happy. Uh,
I'm a gardener, so and plus, I live in the city, so we got brown brothers. But when they pass by, I can't do not. How you
yeah,
doing, brother? Just and that,
yeah,
no. Sri Prabhupada said, don't cause stress to any living entity.
very nice,
So
Prabhu.
I can't take.
Actually, that's we can see that this devotional service is Pratyakshavagavam Dharmyam Susukam Kartamam. We can actually perceive the result ourselves. Initially, when we were before Krishna consciousness, we really did not care about any animals. We were used to even kill them out of for pleasure also, right? Not just for meat or anything. But after coming to Krishna consciousness, we all become like Mrugaris. When we are watching Paramatma within our heart, will make us more kind. He will not let us hurt also any animals. And even when we are unconsciously doing something, immediately the thought comes, "Hey, don't hurt," and we'll stop right away. So that is a nice realization. Thank you. So yeah, we all become more and more kind. Of course, uh, like dusting of the attic after many years, so many desires will come out. That envy will come out, where sometimes envy is so strong that we might be becoming kind to the things like the lower species of life or people who are not really there. But some people who we feel as a competition for us, then we all that kindness all of a sudden goes away. But we have to continue to chant, continue to pray, so that envy will goes away. And the more we grow, sometimes we'll start to realize that. So we might be initially say, you're all saying that I came here because I was envious to Krishna. I think this discussion came up and we were discussing a couple of days back. We will not realize perceive that envy for Krishna right away. But as and when we become more and more pure, we become more and more advanced. When we become more Krishna like a gold particle is similar to gold, then we immediately we will realize, oh, how and why I was envious to Krishna. We are not there yet. We are in this platform. So when we are in the human platform, we are always envious with people who has a bigger house, bigger car, and all. We are away from the platform. Now, are we envious with that other people? Somebody has a big car, a nice car, big. Do we really care? We don't even care. But when we are on this platform, and when we are associating with like-minded people like the devotees, and if we see devotees, sometimes it's the nature for everyone. We become envious to other devotees. But once we cross that also, where we become kind to all the devotees, then we start experiencing what was the reason we were envious towards Krishna. But now we might not see that. And when we are in the lower platform, we were really not envious to devotees. Oh, they are people who are just doing their own work, and then we are not too worried about it. So that is basically the envy starts to coming when we are in the right platform that perceive it. So what does Prabhupada say in terms of the three qualifications? Yeah, we did not finish that. So first one is mercy towards the living entities. The next one is somehow or other always be satisfied. Means look at the glass half full. Don't think that my father did not give me this, my father did not give me this. Think at what my father gave. And it's actually, even whether you're Krishna conscious or not, to bring, to lead a happy life, motivational speakers also tell the same thing. Always look at the blessings that you have. Then you will start feeling the happiness. Then you will, if you keep on, you do it as an exercise. If you feel that you did not have this or someone did this to you, close your eyes and see what that person gave to you, good things. Consciously do that. If you keep doing that consciously, it becomes a habit. And now you are no longer looking at the faults of the other person. You are actually looking at the good things of the other person. And then similarly to your father, and similarly to Krishna also. Krishna is giving us so much. And if we think that why Krishna is doing this, but uh, and the mood of a devotee is, especially if something bad happens, a reversal happens in their life, they look at it such a way that bigger problem you had to be. I was ought to get that, but Krishna minimized that and gave me only a small thing. And even Mother Kunti says that Krishna, please give me more and more miseries. And everybody is shocked. Why is Mother Kunti asking that? Because she knows that if she doesn't get miseries, she will immediately forget the Supreme Lord. But only if she gets more miseries, she will be always in the mood of Krishna. I want to serve you like that. But we are similarly, we are not for all the things I was mentioning. We are not there yet. But those are all the pure devotee mood. But we have to reach there. Yes,
Is
Prabhu.
that the same thing as Brahmaji saying the tapas? Tapas? What does tapas mean again?
Yeah, so when Brahma first appears, he sees everything. He could not find anything, and he closes his eyes and meditates, and hears the word tapa, means do austerity, means sit in do austerity, and then he gets the divine instructions from the Lord Vishnu himself, saying how to create this whole world. Yeah. So the third one is similar to that. Yeah. So the controlling the senses is nothing but tapasya, means we are doing. So Father gives the instructions. Do we just take it without any sincerity, or do we just take it and follow the instructions sincerely and execute them? We have to execute, right? If we just don't follow the instructions, then the Father will not be happy. That's what we have been discussing. So the three things is
Oh, yeah.
being merciful to all the living entities, being merciful to our siblings, merciful to the living entities, merciful to the devotees, merciful to everyone. Be satisfied somehow or other. It's looking at the good things that the Father did for us, whether it is the Supreme Lord or our spiritual master or our biological father. And the third one is follow the instructions and control our sense enjoyment. Means don't give up to our giving to our material desires. Follow the instructions of the spiritual master of Krishna. Dharmantu Sakshat Bhagavad Pranita means the instructions that the spiritual master is giving are no different from the instructions that Krishna is giving. So because it comes from the disciplic succession. So we'll see how Prabhupada tells the same things. He says that giving mercy is nothing but preaching, and and he's not Prabhupada. The way he explains is so nice. He doesn't look at these three things as separate. He links them actually. He says, "You want to give mercy to the living entities, go and preach." But in order to be able to preach to the other people, you yourself have to be satisfied first. You yourself have to be happy. If you are always morose, you are always angry, you go and preach, no impact. So you have to be satisfied. But the third, how can you be satisfied yourself? By controlling your material desires and doing the chanting. So we'll read and then we'll close today's session. Mataji, or anyone wants to read the purport?
Purport
Yeah.
4:31:19. The first item mentioned in Dayaya, Dayaya,
Sarva Bhuteshu.
showing mercy for all conditions. The best way to show mercy is to spread Krishna consciousness. Ishkan, the entire world is suffering for one of this knowledge. People should know that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original cause of everything. Knowing this, everyone should directly engage in this devotion. Those who are actually learned advanced spiritual things should preach Krishna consciousness all over the planet, so that people may take it and make it realize itself.
So what is showing mercy to the living entities or the conditioned souls is to preach. Yare dekho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. Wherever we go, whatever we do, always preach about Krishna. And everybody is suffering in this material world. They are looking for mercy. We have to care whether it is to the living entities. We have to preach them. We have to why it is called the Prabhupada calls it the best welfare work in the world, because if we give somebody is hungry, we give them food, it satisfies them for maybe a few hours or one day or something. Immediately they become hungry again. We give them some money, maybe a few days, but again the problem starts. But if we give them Krishna consciousness, and if they start practicing it and they start to realize that their problems can be permanently addressed, we are solving their problem permanently, right? So that is the best welfare work in the world. And coming to the devotees, we have to care for them. Not everybody is in the same platform, right? Somebody might be going through some challenges. So when we come to the Krishna consciousness, caring for the devotees or doing service to the devotees is comes under doing mercy. And how we can do that, we read in the Nectar of Instruction the 6 ways, right? How are these? By exchanging gifts, by exchanging prasadam, by confidentially asking and sharing the information, means asking if they have any problems, how can they help. And if you did you catch it in the previous verses where Swayambhu Manu says that he will follow the instructions to the best of his abilities. Means same thing. He is saying that he did not ask put any conditions when taking the instructions, but when he said, "Whatever be the instructions, I will do my best." So same thing. We may not be in the position to help the devotee 100%, but whatever be the ability, we have to give the service to the devotee. And of course, being rendering service to the Supreme Lord, which is so the other two things are everyone can benefit spiritually by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. When the transcendental vibration of Hare Krishna is sounded, even the trees and animals and insects benefit. Thus, one can chant. Thus, when one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly, he actually shows mercy to all living entities also. Not just those, even the lower entities. There are so many living entities around us, like the fly that is flying, and then the and then the other insects and things.
Yeah.
If we chant loudly, and actually, it's you would not believe, because I used to read Srimad Bhagavatam at the same time every night before sleeping, and whenever I open the book, a small insect used to come and sit on the book, and until I read, it used to be there, and before closing, it used. I was like fascinated, and after a few days, it did not appear, so it might have died or something. So that is the benefit you are getting. So whether you're chanting or reading, do it loudly. There will be always be a benefit for other living entities. Um, Showing mercy to, yeah, to spread Krishna consciousness movement throughout the world, the devotee should be satisfied in all conditions. So see, you, like I said, we cannot be angry or serious, or serious in the sense not in the material serious, and then we should not be always like dejected. The mood will spread. People are when you are in a company of other devotees, you take their mood. So if you are always like that, you tend to be like that. So we have to look for devotees who are always positive and spreading the Krishna consciousness. Then same thing will come to us. So only then we'll be able to also spread that same mood and service and love towards other living entities also. So first we have to be satisfied by ourselves. And the question will arise, how can I be satisfied? By control the senses. So it does not matter the pure devotee has to go to hell to preach, the pure devotee will still go. To attain this state of satisfaction, one has to control his senses. The senses are automatically controlled when one's mind is engaged in the service of the Lord. So that concludes my lecture. Any questions, comments, anything you want, please let me know.
You gotta go to hell to preach?
Yeah, the devotees will not even take a step back, because the devotees are so merciful, especially the acharyas.
Right.
They want to go to even to the heaven. They don't care heaven or hell. They will go there, preach, and get the people get out of there.
The
Yeah.
one is tough. Okay.
I mean, there are some pastimes where I think I don't remember I remember it vaguely, but one of the devotee who fell down, did so many sinful activities even after getting initiation from his spiritual master. Was about in the deathbed, and he saw the agents of the king, Lord of Death, Yamaraj, pull him. He was experiencing all the hellish planets, and suddenly he saw a flash of his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he came back to life. He came and saved.
Yeah.
So the spiritual master will, once you surrender to a spiritual master and give your life to him, they will be there and will save you. They will come to hell, your heaven, wherever you are. They will take you back home, back to Godhead. Okay. I offer my, yeah, yes, Prabhuji.
I have a comment for you. So, in the material world, we see like cases where parents have killed their own children.
Yeah.
I think when around 2002, I remember that time because that's when my first was born. There was a mother in South Carolina or somewhere. She killed 5 of her children in her house. In her backyard. So, and it happens all the time, not just in America, India too it happens. But just to illustrate how complete Srimad Bhagavatam is, I think there's a verse somewhere in the first canto, probably around the time when before the punishment of Drona
It's actually the Spanish is the name of the chapel, but I forget its name.